All right, so here we have three of the popular WYZE cameras. These are all three ones that we have throughout the house and the property here. We'll talk about some of the pros and cons of each one and just the overall WYZE system. So starting off on the right, we have the WYZE Cam V3. This is the non-pro model. In the middle here, we have the WYZE Cam V4, again, the non-pro model, and these are obviously all in the white color. And then on the left here, we have the WYZE Cam Pan and Tilt V3. Now, going through all of these, they're all going to share the same um, smart AI features because they're on the same platform. So if you want motion detect, that works on all of them. If you want smart tagging of your videos, that works on all of them. If you want all the integrations and the timers and the scheduling and the triggers and the smart home, Alexa, Google Home stuff, that's all of them. So all of these will do all of that stuff. The differences between the cameras is mostly going to be around the specs on these two, and then obviously the tilt zoom over here. They all use the exact same power, which is going to be micro USB. They are all IP65 waterproof, so there's going to be no difference in whether you can put them outside or inside, and that includes the little robot camera here that's turning on its own. Same thing, IP65, you can put that outdoors and not have to worry about it. They're all two-way cameras, so you can both hear what's going on in the view frame as well as speak outwards to what's happening. Oh, see, it's tracking me. We'll have it track our videographers, so it should stay facing forward. All those things are going to happen with each of these cameras. So starting with the V3, this is going to be a 1080 camera here. It does feature two-way, both talking and receiving. This one right here is going to be a 2.5K. So really the only difference between these two video-wise is whether you need a higher resolution. I would say most of the time for within the house, 1080p is definitely sufficient, but a lot of people like the 2.5K for outdoors, so you can see things like license plates. You can see people's faces if they're further away. When you're really zooming in, that 2.5K is going to play a difference. So if you are going to be doing a lot of zooming in, probably going to want the higher resolution. Now, the other thing between these two is they spend a lot of time upgrading the audio on the V4 versus the V3. This is really quite similar to the V3 Pro. It's got the spotlight on the top, which can be programmed and controlled via the app. And it's got the better audio in terms of both receiving from the microphone. The microphone has a new amplifier, and the speaker going out is clearer. So if you're going to be speaking back and forth, this might be the better camera for you. Really good example would be if you're using these as like a baby room monitor, something like that, and you want to be able to clearly speak to your child, this might be the better option than either of these two because the sound's going to be clearer, both coming towards you and as you speak outwards. Now let's get to the little robot, which is tracking everything going on behind the camera. So this guy's really beneficial whenever you need to obviously track movement or you need to access the camera remotely. So this can be controlled entirely from the app. It just has a little 4-direction controller where I can move it up, down, left, right. I'll even do that right now. So I'll move it down towards the table, up towards the ceiling, left towards that wall, and right towards this wall. Now, you can also set what are called waypoints, which are going to be pre-designated views for what it's going to be looking at in cycle until it identifies a person, vehicle, pet for it to track automatically. Once it finds one of those, it will lock onto that person and it will track them. So this is a really good one to have for like monitoring a yard. And you need to watch somebody doing something in the yard, this would be a really good option for that. It is also, like I said, IP65 in terms of weatherproof. So this is really good if you can't be there in person, like it's not just monitoring something static. Maybe cars going past, maybe people in a yard, this is going to be the better option. If you don't know exactly where they're going to be, or you can't quite see the entire space, you can cover a massive amount of area with these pan tilts because of the waypoints. You can set one waypoint here, one here, one here, one here, and now I've covered pretty much the entire side, left to right. Depending where you put it, you could even get a full 360 because this is a 360 pan camera, so it can spin all the way around. As far as video storage, they can all store locally, they can all store in the cloud. Space is going to be a consideration if you're looking at one of the 2.5K cameras. Just know you're going to be using something like almost 4x the amount of storage for those videos. So if you are trying to store things locally, or you have to actually buy a memory card, you'll get a lot more recorded video on 1080. It'll be harder to zoom in, but you'll get a lot more footage. Whereas if you go 2.5K, you're definitely going to get better quality for zooming into things, but don't expect you're going to get, 1 month of of constant video footage on one of these little tiny cards. Now, if you buy a really big card, different story, but just factor that in when you're purchasing for local storage on the cameras themselves. So there we go. That is the WYZE Cam V3. Definitely a great one for in the house, static, or I want to record long amounts of stuff locally. We have the WYZE Cam V4. Great when I need a spotlight to let people know I'm watching them, or if I need the audio going back and forth to speak to someone like, say, a child, or maybe it's at your front door and it's going to be a visitor. And then the pan tilt V3 over here on the left, which is the same generation as the V4 here. The pan tilt is really great where I can only have one camera covering a very large area, more than 180 degrees. This thing is going to track all the motion in that area, and it's going to be able to automatically cycle through those waypoints. So that way it can look both this way and this way, thus greatly increasing the coverage area. So those are the three very common WYZE cameras. These are ones that we have throughout the house and the property here. We've got uses for all of them. They're all really great and have access to the same wonderful features and integrations on the WYZE platform. So each one has its own use. Definitely one for everybody and everything that you might need a camera for.